Hey everyone, I'm on an app developer journey, I guess, trying to develop passive income so I can work on startups full time. And I currently have, I guess, enough saved to live at my parents' house for I think like the next 12 months and even longer if I sell investments, which I don't want to do. And so I need to get shit done within the next year. Try to get at least 5,000 a month within a year. And so part of that, of reaching that goal, is having like clear, specific, and small, I guess, milestones. And these milestones I have in each of the different projects, because I don't just talk about startups. I also talk about trying to be a well-rounded, I guess, healthy person. I don't want to be at my death grave by the time I'm like a multimillionaire. So in addition to starting up, I'm talking about like optimal health. So we're talking about nutrition, sleep, and stress. I think those are the four. And fitness. So half marathon training. And then we're also talking about self-care. So my word for that is healing, because there's lots of personal challenges, traumas, things that that I guess I carry, and that's it manifests itself in my high blood pressure that I'm trying to reduce. So let's get started. And I think I sidetracked myself a little bit. The main thing that I was going to say is because it's a 1-year goal, it's like a short turnaround time, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, trying to get 5K in passive income. So I need to be tight and I need to be disciplined. And the way that I do that is by making sure that at the end of every week, I adjust for the next week. And over time, I should be reaching the goals that I have set. So the first one, healing. Healing, again, if you haven't watched previous videos, this is essentially, I have high blood pressure and I don't have like organ issues. I don't have like, we don't think that I have any like underlying issues. So it's probably stress, probably traumas. I've been in academia, been pushing myself pretty hard for the past 9 years. And now I'm not in academia anymore since I dropped out, but I still have this high blood pressure. So I need to figure out if I'm carrying anything subconsciously and try to, I guess, tweak those things, because anywhere I go, there I am, which is to say that even now that I'm not in academia, I still might have those lenses that push me to push my blood pressure, because I think you can still excel and be an overachiever without having high blood pressure. So anyways, for that, I have 2 books that my doctor recommended. It's on my website, franciscomonroy.xyz. Everything there is free. I don't really try to sell anything. I do have affiliate links to try to support, I guess, the work that I do, but I don't try to sell anything or have courses. So you can look at those books there. The first one's called Lighter by young Pueblo. And last week I didn't read anything, or I might have read a few days. This week I actually didn't read anything. I was reading another book, but it's still important that I read this book. And so my goal for this week is just, let's read 3 days a week. If I do that, I'll be happy. I won't be like the happiest, but I'll still be happy that I made some progress. Then this one that I don't want to share, I know some of my family might watch it, so I want to keep it like PG. So I'll avoid this for now. But I did write it down. Then I did a journal therapy, which is also part of my goal in healing. Just every week, write down for like 10 to 15 minutes. What are the sort of the pain points, challenges that bothered me this week, and how can I address them moving forward? And so one of them, for example, is my dog just sheds a lot, and it's kind of annoying when I have to walk in my room and I tend to wear socks or am bare feet, and then I want to go on my bed. I'm picking up all that hair and putting it on my bed. Or I'm wiping my feet before I do it, but I just want to be able to walk around barefoot. So grooming her is probably going to help. One thing that I did good last week was I have screen time limited from 10 p.m. to 8:30. So when it's time to go to sleep, I don't just prolong the time of that I'm just in bed and not doing anything by going on my phone. I can read. I can. I have a TV, so I might need to take the TV out. But I haven't really been using TV as a way to stay up. At least not yet. It's not like the main contributor of me staying up. And so having the screen time limited on my phone has reduced that time when I go to sleep and when I wake up. So that was good. And right now I also added the gray filter, so that should even reduce the time even more. And what else? Let me block all the time spending. Yes, I already did that. That was from last week. Yeah, I just need to put my devices away, be more disciplined about that. Because I do spend maybe 10 to 30 minutes on some days, and I still want to cut that. I just want to get up and get going, and when it's time to go to sleep, either I'm reading a book or going to sleep. What else? Yeah, so that was just copying that, reducing the screen time. Yeah, and so this week I think was a little bit of an uptick because I'm getting used to, I guess. Actually, that's a little bit personal to mention at the moment, but a point being, I use my phone as a way for companionship, and or to replace a feeling of no longer having as much companionship, and so it upticked, I think, to an average of 3 hours a day, which is, I mean, okay for the average person, but I want to get it down to an hour. There's nothing useful for me to look at my there's nothing useful for me to look at my phone, so my thoughts speed up faster than my mouth can speak. Yeah, and then the other thing I want to try to do is just be more disciplined and track my productive hours. And this is probably going to be an app that I'm going to make, and if no one else uses it, that's fine with me, because I feel like I really need it, and I don't really want to explore all the time apps that are out there. And so I kind of have this pain point. I know I'll use it. I think other people like me who want to try to optimize their time, or the time that they are working, which I think everyone wants to do. So yeah, I think that might be useful for people. And then the other thing, this is more related to my personal situation. Started watching a workshop by Marshall Rosenberg on how to improve communication, and that I thought it was like everyone who's married, basically, I feel should go through this workshop. It's only 3 hours long, super gold. So I just want to process my notes and see how that translates to my life, I guess. So that's healing. The next section that I want to talk about is Innovator's Blueprint. If you're not familiar, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning, I want to develop passive income. And to get passive income, I need to essentially make apps, make websites that sell services. And the first part of making an app or making a website is essentially you get an idea, and then you validate it, and you design it. Those 3 steps are the first part of it before you even start actually developing it. Because once you start developing it, it takes more work, takes time, takes money to make changes once you realize that you should have done something from the start. And that initial time, those initial 3 steps can basically be summed up as user experience design, user interface design, and there's other terms in there such as market research or competitive analysis, and whatever you want to call it, customer discovery, lean methodology. All those terms fit in those 3 steps at the start. And so Innovator's Blueprint is essentially me trying to master those concepts, those topics, and yeah, I guess start designing apps. And so the first thing that I had was to like get 2 Udemy courses out the way. I finished those last week or this week and processed them, made YouTube videos about them. So that was my way of processing them, and now I need to make sure that any other actionable notes, such as like websites that are libraries with icons or with inspiration, add those all to like a page where I just keep everything, and then also add any information that I learned to sort of this tree of knowledge, because I know I'm not going to remember everything. And so sort of going with like Elon's way of thinking about learning, everything you learn you want to add into sort of like a tree of knowledge, and so you have it like down, and that's what I want to do as well. So those are 2 action points with this bigger, I guess, topic, or associated with this event, you could say. Now, for resources, one of my action tasks is essentially to look for websites, look for designers, look for portfolios that I can learn from. And so I did search for libraries. I searched for like websites that have icons, that have any other like useful resources, images, whatever, and those I added to my notes. So now I just need to process my notes, and then I also need to finish processing or going through all the portfolios that I started to go through, which I think was my last video. So that's with this event. The next event is sort of what's my next steps going forward. And so going forward, I had this Figma course that I bought. I don't know how much of it overlaps with the first Figma course that I took, so I just want to skim through this, watch it at like 2x, get it done in like I think it might take me like 4 or 5 days. So it does take some time, but part of it kind of seemed useful. So I think it might be broader, but also cover more topics than the first Figma course, which is why I am willing to put time to go through it. And yeah, so once I finish that, then I want to go into the advanced Figma course, and then some other courses such as the Google UX certification course on Coursera. This one's kind of a lengthy one. It says it takes like 3 to 6 months with 10 hours a week of commitment, I think it was. So I want to try to get it done in like 2 months max. So I do want to try to go through all the other courses as quickly as I can to just get started on this. This one, we'll see when it's open, but once I finish the Google UX course, I want to take this Learn UI Design course. This one has like a waitlist, so I don't know how this one fits into everything at the moment, but just have it there just in case. So let's see what else. Take time. Okay, yeah, and so previously last week I mentioned that instead of following like courses and case study prompt generators and any sort of these projects that I'm not really passionate about, instead I know I have a bunch of problems that I myself want an app for. And so if I just spend 15 minutes a day thinking about all the different problems, all these different ideas that I would want to work with, write them down. Then I can do some basic like research, see what's out there, see if mine's a little bit different, or maybe I don't even have to. I can just run with sort of the pain points that I have. I can make my own persona of myself, but make it a little bit more general, and then start designing it and see if anything sort of sticks from there. Once I have the initial design, then do the market research, which I'll learn, I guess, in subsequent steps within this project. So I can go either way. Point is, I want to practice the skills I learned in the courses that I've taken so far. So I want to do that rather quickly, as opposed to just wait until I've forgotten everything and then I need to recap the courses. And so here is just transferring all those takeaways. Now looking at March to Startup. So this project is a sub-project of March to Startup. March to Startup is, first goal is 5K in passive income per month. After that, I'll be able to cover the loans that I have. I'll be able to cover food, and I can probably buy a car. My first car crapped out on me like many years ago, so right now I just don't have a car. So with 5K in passive income, I can start saving and also start like dealing with some of these things that giving me the room to focus on other goals. Give me the room, give me the freedom. And one of those goals is like actually have a startup. So maybe one of these apps ideas that I have, I can scale up, or I can focus on more hardware heavy ideas that needed some capital. And so that would be like a 3 to 5 year goal. The next 1 to 2 years is just passive income. And so this was the first I guess phase. It's supposed to be like 2 to 5 or 6 months of just learning design. After that, it's learning how to program. And so here you can see it's initially at least more programming heavy. So I finished learning Git already. I wanted to get something tangible out of it, and that was passing the LinkedIn skill assessment, but they no longer do that. So for me, this was then just placed in the back burner since I learned the basics with branching and merging. And I don't really program right now since I'm learning just design. So I figured, why not finish off the other tasks once I do start programming and need to use Git. And iOS app development, this I'm going to start once I'm 80% done with everything in Innovator's blueprint. Right here, what you're seeing is only like the first third. But the other 2/3 don't take as long as this one. Yeah, it doesn't take as long as that one. So I think maybe worst case, like November, I'm finished with this, starting to recap this. And this is going to take maybe a few months. So let's say by the end of February, I have put out my first app. And then at that point, going to double down on marketing and sales. So just be thorough. And this is going to take me maybe 5 months of just reading books, learning, applying it to the app I'm developing in parallel, the apps I'm developing in parallel. So yeah, it's sort of like a cycle that then feeds itself. Learning design, making an app, selling it. And once I sort of cover the fundamentals, design another app, program it, sell it. And so it just feeds itself until I'm able to scale it. And in parallel to that, I have a bunch of resources that I want to learn to prepare me for, I guess, a startup any startup that I have in mind. And so for that, I want to learn from Jeff Bezos. I have a bunch of other resources I need to go through. This is also on my website or in the previous videos that I've made. And then just as an overhead, I started an LLC. I think it was in February. It was actually a dumb idea because I'm not selling anything yet. So I still have to deal with this and make sure that I'm checking out all the boxes, even though I don't have anything to sell. So in retrospect, I wouldn't have started a company until at least I was ready to put the app out there. So yeah, but anyways, I have $500 deposited, and so that's there, I guess. But overall, I don't really have anything here. In learning resources, I do have books, TV shows, podcasts, but at the moment I'm too sort of busy focused on everything else to really try to be processing anything here. And yeah, so there's no takeaways, no actionable takeaways there. Now for half marathon training, this week was pretty good. I mean, I can show the screenshot, or you can just take me at my word. I ran 4 days. My goal was to run 5 days, so I fell short there, but I did run about 7.2 miles a day. So in total it was about 28 point something miles for the whole week. So that was, I guess, okay. I think part of it also was that I just felt super tired, and like Saturday was exhausted, Wednesday was exhausted, today is supposed to be my break, and I wanted to take this break because next week I'm gonna just start the half marathon plan. So it was what it was. Not mad. I just missed a day, but for the half marathon training, there's gonna be no excuses there. I'm gonna have to show up every day and make sure by the end of 12 weeks I reach this goal. One thing that I need to improve here is just making sure that I go to sleep on time. I tend to sleep around 10:30, sometimes 11, and that sort of messes with when I'm supposed to wake up. So it's need to make sure I unplug, go to sleep on time. And then I also need to do my physical therapy practice exercises. I've noticed that my shin splints are starting to come back, and then I'm getting like a hint of runner's toes. And so I just need to make sure to keep my toenails clean, or my undernails, whatever you want to call it, keep them clean, and make sure to like roll out my shins and do the tib bar exercises to just make sure that I don't get injured. I don't know if shin splints are injuries, but they sure feel bad, so I need to make sure to do that. Hold on. I don't know if you could hear that, but that's essentially my watch telling me it's 8 o'clock. You need to unwind. So I need to wrap up this video real quick. Let's see. So March to Optimal Health. Here again, we're breaking down to the pillars: mental health, sleep, nutrition, and fitness. For mental health, I think I want to incorporate meditation, but it just feels like I don't want to be the type of person that has a 3-hour morning routine. And I haven't even nailed down my other things. So for me, it's keep putting it off until the next week once I've sort of refined it. So I'm hoping within the next 3 weeks at least that I do think about incorporating meditation more seriously. I just don't want my overhead, I guess, of being a human to be like 3 hours every day, to exercising, to sleeping, to showering, to I don't know. I don't want that much overhead, but maybe we need it, so I don't know. That's something I need to figure out. And for sleep, again, sleep closer to my intended time. For my nutrition plan, here, I don't know how many days I actually followed it. I know I've been eating my oatmeal in the morning consistently, and I think I ate like a salad like 3 or 4 days out of the week. It's just the lentils. The lentils I might have eaten like 3 days a week. So next week my goal is just let me eat this 4 days out of the week, and let me track it so I know for sure that I did eat those. And then after that, the next week, do it for 5 days a week, then again 5 days, and then I want to get to the point where I'm doing it at least 6 days a week. So that's that. For fitness, again, my main focus is half marathon training, but eventually I want to try to incorporate some resistance training. And so I like the functional fitness aspects of calisthenics. So I'll look into that, or maybe also add in some weightlifting, things that I can do from home because I don't have a car, and then maybe also yoga for flexibility. And those are just the takeaways. So now looking at YouTube. So here, I think I did good. I reviewed some channels and made a plan on how to improve. And so here, every video is going to have an intro video. And the things that I need to do is just be more consistent. I need to try to record at least 3 days a week where I'm working, similar to how Sam Sulek does his training videos. So you're just working with me, or he's training, you would be working with me. And at the start of every video, I have an intro that I use. I recap where I am at in terms of like my overall startup plan, and then end with a summary. So it just makes it easier to process, and you can sort of just skip to the important parts. And then one thing that I'm thinking about adding is every day take a screenshot of my bank account and my miles ran and put that on the thumbnail. And so you can see how my work has translated into me actually running and how much money I'm making. But I'm unsure about the bank account for now, because I know for sure I'm not going to be making any money until I program apps and put them on the App Store. And that won't happen until at least December, maybe. So I'm unsure about this point, but everything else was pretty good. And that's just the takeaways summarized again. And so then with all of these, I add them where need be. So yeah, that's my week.